What's up, guys? Frugal BC. I just got a really short video for you guys today. We're going to talk about node incentives. We got an update from the CEO of Algorand Foundation, Stacy Warden, on how nodes are going to work. Plus, we're going to look at a clip from the Algorand Foundation's podcast where they talk just a little bit about how some of it is going to work toward the end of the podcast. We're going to look at that. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Remember, you don't have to smash it. You can just press it gently. And we're always bringing the truth in crypto. We just dive deep into this stuff with Algorand and other cryptocurrencies. We bring you the good, the bad, and ugly. No shilling here. I just tell you the good spots, the bad spots, and everything in between, which sometimes gets me in trouble, but it is what it is. I'm not going to stop talking. And if you want these videos earlier, you could have seen this video a lot earlier. If you just become a channel member, we got that for $1 only. It's all it costs you per month to become a channel member, support the channel, and get videos ahead of time before all your friends. I'm sure all your friends are watching Frugal VC, right? And then I also want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Non-Fungible Domains. If you would rather have, instead of those complicated letters and numbers for your address, you just like a simple .algo address, Non-Fungible Domains is the way to do it. I got one. It's called frugalvc.algo. You can send me crypto if you want. You don't have to, but it just makes it a lot easier to use Algorand, and plus in the ecosystem. Plus they got segments and vaults, all kinds of good stuff. So go check them out in the description below. But anyway, let's get to this this write-up first off from Stacy Warden. And so she says, "Hi, okay, here's how we think it will work. Algorand Foundation will commit a fixed amount of algos to incentivizing consensus." And remember, this is coming supposedly in October is the latest we heard. So coming very, very soon. Those algos will be distributed according to the curve that John talked about. John talked you through in a paper and accompanying Loom I reposted below. Algorand Foundation does not immediately put this money into the dedicated fee sink for worst case scenario risk management reasons. Rather, the Algo Foundation deposits this money in its entirety into a wallet designed and published per our usual practice, and then on regular intervals moves Algo to the fee sink, keeping well ahead of the staking needs, obviously, as is our practice with DeFi, including e.g. with DeFi incentive rewards. The Algorand Foundation does not treat itself differently from other algo holders. In this case, as Algorand Foundation participates in consensus, it will also collect rewards when an Algorand Foundation wallet is picked as a block proposer. In the beginning, due to our overwhelming percentage of committed stake, we expect Algorand Foundation to be picked often. The Algorand Foundation will deposit any and all rewards that it receives back into the dedicated wallet so as to prolong the life of the incentive period. So in a sense, you're going to be competing with the Algorand Foundation, but kind of not really, because if they propose a block, they're going to take those rewards and put them right back into the pool. So you're kind of competing with them, but not ultimately, if that makes sense. Technically, there's a tricky bit to modeling this, as the deposits of Algorand Foundation back into the wallet make the transition to fee-only incentives variable. We want to model this out properly before publishing, but doing it now on Twitter is also good. As a philosophical reminder, our entire goal in this process is to increase the security of the network by enticing additional participants to stake algos and to reduce the Algorand Foundation stake. The reduction in Algorand Foundation stake will happen in two ways. First, our proportion of total staked algo will go down as new stake comes online, bigger denominator. Secondly, when we reach a total amount of staked algo that is sufficient to adequately secure the network, the Algorand Foundation will remove any stake that puts the total stake above that threshold amount. Stuff gets really complicated. Algo Foundation reminds you to leave the staking set as quickly as is safely possible, leaving only a minor supporting stake. Fisherman this is the CEO of Non-Fungible Domains, by the way, or founder. It's good that the rewards Algorand Foundation wins will be recycled, but why turn on the fee switch at all? There's no technical reason to do so. It's a deliberate decision that does not affect security. By Algorand Foundation taking 80% of their rewards initially, that reduces the APY for real users. So I'm just wondering if Stacy did not respond, but Silent Rhetoric did. He said if block rewards are a fixed X per algo, fixed amount of algo per block, there would be no effect either way on the API for any given community node runner if Algorand Foundation opted in or out of receiving block incentives for their online accounts. Yeah, so the block rewards API is not affected. Okay, so that's that. Let's see what the video is.
Hello friends, it's John Woods, the CTO at the Algorand Foundation. I'm here today to walk you through our paper on consensus incentivization. This is an important change coming to the Algorand network, and we want to get your feedback. We want feedback from everyone, not just folks from an engineering background. So today, I'm going to walk you through some of the main concepts in the paper, and hopefully you'll be able to understand each section, even if you're not working in a technical discipline. So, this paper has been put together by myself, my colleagues at the Algorand Foundation, and colleagues at Algorand Technologies. The purpose of this project is to engineer a native solution at layer 1 in the protocol that rewards the validation of transactions and the new minting of blocks on the Algorand network. We're doing this because we think it's important to increase the decentralization of the network and to encourage individuals to stake their algo, to increase the security of the network. The goals of this paper are to define certain aspects of that design.
By the way, it's gonna require 30,000 algo, and there's some technical reasons why that is the case. Actually, let me look at, well, let's keep going.
And to inspire discussion around the design. So we're going to look at the economic aspects of the design, source of funds, how we pay out, when we pay out, the technical design, so the types of changes that are required at a protocol level to implement something like this. And we're going to look at mitigation of certain gaming angles that may emerge. When you make changes, especially to decentralized networks, especially where money is involved, you got to be thinking about new threat vectors that can emerge. We want to make sure that the solution is watertight and doesn't leave angles for people to game the system or take advantage of the system in any way. So again, I'm going to make sure this is quite casual. I'm not going to go too deep technically. I want to essentially describe each of the main concepts in the paper, so this won't be a very long video. So in terms of contents, we have some context. We look at the solution design, the incentives that are going to come from the fees on the network. Of course, the fees are a small part of the overall reward at the moment, so we're going to also look at other economic considerations and funds that the Algorand Foundation will contribute to boost the rewards in the short term. We're going to look at the payout function, the frequency with which we pay out. Okay,
right, let's just get
so
to it.
For context, folks know Algorand uses pure proof of stake. It's really cool. It's a consensus mechanism that empowers the individual. Why? Because it's really easy computationally to run the VRF. And
let's go to payout functions, because this is what we really want.
So when you're paying out for the rewarding of consensus or block production on a cryptocurrency, you have to have some kind of function that describes how you pay out. Let's say we start at t equals 0, or like tomorrow. We start at a certain time, and we say, well, how much will be paid out per block to the block producer at a given point in time? We need to have a function that describes that. And so some common ones that you might see, as an example, the simplest one I've seen is Mimblewimble, which is a privacy-focused cryptocurrency. And the last time I looked, it pays out 50 coins per block. So every single block, 50 coins forever and ever. It's a very straightforward linear payout function that does not decrease. That's fine, but I think we've seen across the industry that more nuanced payout functions can yield better results. So for example, with Bitcoin, it has this step function you might be aware of. It looks like a stairs. So it starts off with 50 coins and then it halves down to 25 coins, pays out 25 for a while, then it halves down to 12 and a half coins, and so on. And so what this has done for Bitcoin,
it's describing Bitcoin,
is implied deflation. People think Bitcoin's worth more and more year over year because the supply is becoming restricted. So maybe that's something we might want to consider. And then finally, looking again at the industry, I think Monero has an interesting payout function. It also decreases over time, like Bitcoin, quite exponentially, but doesn't do so with a step function like a stairs. Instead, it has kind of a smooth curve that decays down. And unlike Bitcoin, which will go to 0 in terms of rewards, Monero has a tail emission, so it goes down to a certain amount and then trickles at that amount forevermore. So these are the types of things that inspired our thinking around this payout function. In this section, we have some mathematics that describe certain payout functions, and we just put them up for discussion. So we start off with a linear payout function, and this is one that would look like this on a graph. It would start off paying out a lot, and over time it would decrease in a linear fashion, going in a straight line. This first piece here that I'm highlighting, it defines the shape of the line, and this second equation, it describes how much will actually be paid out per block.
And by the way, this is replacing governance rewards. Governance will still be around, but the rewards will switch to this consensus rewards instead.
After you normalize the shape for the exact amount of algo that we want to pay out. With the fees, they are dynamic. They go up and down depending on how many fees are paid in a given block. With the Algorand Foundation's contribution towards consensus incentives, we're suggesting that it will be a single block of funds. In this case, we're assuming, say, 200 million algo. We also assume things like a certain block time, 3 seconds. Of course, this will change with dynamic lambda, and we can look at that later on. We think of time as a duration for the payout, so we want to, say, pay out over the course of 3 years, as an example. So we want to be supporting this for 3 years, diminishing over time. And then finally, the total number of blocks over which we have to pay out that sum of money over time. And so this normalization factor essentially defines a number of algo that will be paid out on a given block over time between the date we start this, which is going to be in 2024, and the date that the Foundation's contribution is run out.
Yeah, let's there's a little more specificity in another video in their latest podcast. So let's look at that.
Those admissions in the last couple of weeks. So hopefully we'll start seeing that count of active developers go up for which is fantastic.
I love that. I mean, this is exactly what they're, and they've done some really innovative stuff around peer-to-peer smart contract auditing as well, that they've just leveraged your team, leveraged other teams in the ecosystem to do. So I think I love these kind of collaborations, more and more of these.
Yeah, and one last thing is that, like, when people open source their code, it allows new people to kind of stand on their shoulders a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how Ethereum grew to what it is today.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now everyone wants to start again, So.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Libraries developed.
Yeah, they're doing great. And actually, and then Folks Finance has been working with TinyMan, but Folks speaking of getting excited about what's coming up, I mean, Folks is launching their incentive pools, which are consensus pools for in anticipation of the rollout of consensus.
Yeah, so that's a big deal. Folks Finance is getting right on that. Remember we said there would probably be pools. We kind of announced that a while back, that they were anticipating that there would be pools. Actually, Folks Finance is going to be leading it. So if you don't want to take the time of running your own node, which I think is probably pretty time consuming or resource intensive as far as your computer, maybe not time consuming, but resource intensive on your computer, this will be a way to participate. There'll be other pools that'll probably pop up, and we'll hear a little more about that. They're actually not only planning for that to be the case, but actually helping facilitate it.
That incentivization, which is a big part of how they've just done a really nice job of really iterating and building their products to really kind of it used to be liquid governance, now it's going to be consensus incentivization, and they're launching it alongside.
They're always in lockstep with what's happening. I mean, they don't miss a beat, those guys.
Yeah. They throw a party, and then they're lockstep with our roadmap. They can do everything.
And it's wonderful. To maximize your reward with consensus incentives, of course, you need to run your own node. I mean, that's the way you make the most rewards. Fine. But for folks who don't have the minimum floor of 30,000 algo, which was selected for technical reasons, you can now go to Folks Finance and you can stake with them, and so you can stake with an amount lower than that. Or you can use our peer-to-peer pooling solution that we're going to be rolling out, where you can basically cluster together in a smart contract with other people on the network in a safe, transparent way.
Built by TXN Labs.
So they're actually going to build that platform themselves, it sounds like, where they're going to have that option where you can partner up. So you don't necessarily have to go through Folks Finance, but I think a lot of people might be comfortable with doing that. So that's definitely will be an option. And sounds like Algorand Foundation is actually going to build something where you'll be able to participate with other people and not have to have that 30,000 algo kind of just sitting around.
That's fantastic. Yeah, exactly. And they named it Ready Pools, which is kind of cool because they're following our roadmap name for their pool. Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Davon.
Yes.
Hey, you guys, we got to do this too.
Yes.
Maybe all 5 right here.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it just kind of feels like you're looping us in now because we made a thing of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was the thing we wanted to talk about. So that's all I really wanted to do with that. I just wanted to talk a little bit about node incentivization, since there were some updates on that, and leave that for you. I got to head out of town for the rest of the weekend, I think, although it's raining now, so maybe not. But I just wanted to put that out for you and kind of talk about this, because I think this is going to be one of the biggest changes that Algorand has made, and for the positive, for sure. There we go. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys got something out of that. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Channel memberships for only $1. You can get these videos before anyone else. Shout out to our sponsor, Non-Fungible Domains. Stay safe out there, guys. Keep holding, and I'll see you in the future.